Hi, welcome. It's another week and it's another serving of the AFCON Daily show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Kwao. It's always fun bringing you this show, especially after the round of 16 has begun. Teams are already packing out of Cameroon and they are thinking of how to make it to the next AFCON. Some are staying for a few more days and weeks. We'll guide you through everything that's happened so far. And as we do that, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a message on the number 0550-585832. That is the text and WhatsApp number. We'd love to hear from you. Hashtag AFCON on Citi. Hashtag Citi Sports GHA. All right, I'll be introducing my guests in a bit. We have a lot to discuss. The football, the penalty drama, and everything in between. We've got today's games to look at as well. So it's a packed show between now and the next 1 hour. So don't go anywhere. Do stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short break. Come back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. It's so much fun bringing you this program because it helps you enjoy the football. It has all the highlights, all the lovely chit-chat, the previews, the reviews, the analysis, and everything in between. And I've got some of the most capable minds here to help me do exactly that. Fento Tahiru is here. Hello.
Hi.
Everything cool?
Yes,
you look smashing.
Thank you. Thank you. I have officially decided that I would challenge an accounting for ties.
No problem.
So every week, every day, me too, I unleash a new tie.
Brilliant. You've started well. Fentio 1, Daniel Cranton 0. For now.
For this week, yes.
Let's see if he'll respond quickly.
I'm sure he will. As to whether it will be an adequate response.
Okay, we'll see about that. On the touch screen, we have the one, the only, Susu Graham. Hello.
Hi.
Everything cool?
Oh, everything's great. I think Nigeria going out brightened my mood.
Ghanaians are wicked people. Ghanaians are ruthless people. I'll have Daniel Cranton joining us in a bit there. But let's have a look. I don't know if you have the results ready. The results for the two games played so far in the round of 16. Gabon, they played over the weekend. They took on Burkina Faso. And then you had Tunisia taking on Nigeria in the other round of 16 encounter. But let's start off with the match that has all of us talking. And it is that game involving Burkina Faso and Gabon. It was the first round of 16 encounter. It promised a lot. It did deliver a lot. And it was absolutely thrilling. There you have the results right there. It was Burkina Faso 1, Gabon 1. And the first penalty shootout of the competition was a thriller. Burkina Faso winning 7-6 via the spot kicks. Their goalkeeper, Hervé Kofi, the hero. There was a dramatic shootout. We'll talk more about that, a bit more about that a little later. And then we've got Nigeria 0, Tunisia 1. Youssef Msakni, some call him the Tunisian Luis Suarez, skillful, silky player. His goal in the second half was the difference on the day as the Carthage Eagles progressed into the last 8 of the competition. Let's start off with that game involving Burkina Faso and Gabon. It was 1-1. The two teams had interesting runs during the group stage. The Burkinabes finishing second. The Gabonese also finishing second there. And very early, the game threatened to explode. And it did explode. And it was absolutely brilliant stuff there. Guys, let me take your thoughts. Fent, you go up first. Your thoughts on this encounter? Burkina Faso winning the shootout 7-6 in very dramatic circumstances. Bertrand Traoré, he gave us an indication of how the shootout would go.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game of football. Scrappy at times, but full of drama, to be honest. And even full of very questionable officiating. And you saw the first penalty awarded to Burkina Faso. Bertrand Traoré absolutely wasted it. And then this was the goal. Redeemed himself. Wonderful finish. Of course, we always talk about quality, and that quality always shines through eventually. And I think this was a moment of quality from Bertrand Traoré. One ball through the middle. He's true on goal. Side of the goalkeeper. No chance for the goalkeeper. And at that point, Burkina Faso looked comfortable. They came back in the second half, had really good opportunities as well. This was one of them. Bertrand Traoré this time, not sure where the quality has gone to, basically just passed the ball to the goalkeeper. And then, after that, I think the red card happened, and the Gabonese were reduced to 10 men. And from that moment, even before that, at this point, it was still 11v11. Burkina Faso were having chance after chance after chance. And you see that was a brilliant save, to be fair, from the Gabonese goalkeeper. They had their own chances as well. And that's you see the equalizer in the 91st minute. It eventually was an own goal, but I wouldn't have given it an own goal. I thought Ikoile Mange's effort was heading into the back of the net anyway. Then the penalty shootout, Burkina Faso, they won the toss, went first, and the stats will tell you that the team that shoots first always has like a 70% chance of winning. So it's so incredibly imbalanced, when it comes to the order of the penalty shootout. And then they missed several opportunities to really try and win this one. I think the first one, there was a second one. Actually, Gabon kicked first, and then they missed. Then Burkina Faso failed to take advantage. Then they missed again, and then they failed to take advantage. And then a third miss before Burkina Faso eventually sealed it. But I think the shootout hero was definitely Hervé Kofi. He saved twice.
Yeah.
And then while everybody else was jubilating, he was doing your favorite thing.
He was doing the backflips. Lovely. I missed it. I only saw the pictures.
But I think that it was a game that showed us all what this tournament is really embodied, really. Drama all around. But I think many people predicted Burkina Faso to win. But I think they expected it to be a bit more comfortable than it was. But in the end, I think they qualify their shoe, and now they take on Tunisia. That's another really interesting game of football. I think the Tunisians will get a taste of what it would be like possibly to face Mali in that World Cup qualifying playoff, because the Burkinabés and the Malians are very similar in so many ways than one. So congratulations to them. They did themselves proud. Goodbye to Fair Play FC, aka Gabon.
Goodbye to Fair Play FC. Daniel Cranston, thank you very much for joining us. The polka dotted tie is back. Looks like you're really fighting hard. Fences this week, it's on. The tie wars.
Yes.
I'm not in competition.
You're not in competition. Daniel, as the penalty shootout was happening, I started thinking of you. Why? Because it reminded me of a tennis tiebreaker, or a tennis match where you have championship set in your hands and you keep throwing it away, hoping you'd get another lifeline. But that was a lovely game. It was a brilliant game all around.
Yeah, all around. Top quality stuff. I particularly admire the Gabonese for their fight when they went down a goal and a man down. And you kind of expect these sort of things when you are in the knockout stages. Your back is against the wall, and you have to throw everything in it to be able to get something out of the game. And they did. Last minute equalizer forced the game into extra time. You could tell their game plan in extra time was to try and hold the Burkinabés for as long as possible, probably enter a penalty shootout, and then hope that their technique and their goalkeeper came to the party. Their goalkeeper did come to the party. He made one save, and of course the Burkinabés missed the other. But it was their penalty kicking technique that let them down. And it was a bit disappointing if I was Amanome, is that his name? Yeah, the Gabonese goalkeeper. I'll be very disappointed because you make a save and you expect your teammate to go out and hopefully at least get that goal and solidify your save. And then he goes on to miss, and you come back and you make another save, and then you are hoping he will score, and then he goes and he misses again, and it just makes all your work useless at the end of the day. And it's honestly very painful from a goalkeeping point of view. But for Burkina Faso, and if you look at how the game went and the scope of the game, you must say they deserve to win the game. They created the better opportunities in the game. You saw that second half opportunity from Bertrand Traoré, and that's where Fred was talking about quality. You expect him to be able to bury that chance, and he made it a bit too easy for the Gabonese goalkeeper. But they will be happy that at the end of the day they got the win, and that's the most important thing. When it reaches the knockout rounds, nobody really cares how you win. The bottom line is you should just progress to the next stage, and for Burkina Faso they were able to do that.
All right, the Burkinabés getting through. So on the numbers side, what was happening there? Did the numbers tell us what the game did in terms of 120 minutes, XGs and all of that? Or once it broke down to penalties, it was out of our hands?
Well, I will talk about everything before the penalties, because like Fen said, once you take first, you have a 70% chance. And even then, it's a lottery, because it doesn't matter how well you play. It matters how well you kick how well you handle the pressure. And the Burkinabés handle the pressure better than the Gabonese, but they were deserved winners when I look at the numbers. I think, like you can see, the XG disparity is huge. 2.6 to 0.9. So it shows that the Burkinabés were creating a lot of chances. That was helped by their penalty, which they got early on. But even then, take the penalty out, their XG will still be much higher than the Gabonese. So I think this is a pattern we've seen with the Gabonese in the competition. A lot of their games, they've shot a lot, but they've not created high-quality chances. So as you can see, they had more shots than the Burkinabés, 27 to 25. But their XG is only a fraction of the Burkinabés XG. And I think their shooting also wasn't good because their shots on target 15 to 10. So you are taking a lot of shots and you're not even testing the keeper. I think it's not a good way to play. And like I said, it's just the Gabonese were a bit wasteful because they entered the final third just as many times as the Burkinabé, just a few less. But then their penalty area entries were way more. It was, 40 to 27 about. So when you are doing that and you are getting the penalty area a lot more, you would expect them to create high quality chances and do better. But they didn't create high quality chances. I think that's what caused them. They ended up getting the goal from a set piece. But if you're entering the penalty area so much, you're taking that many shots, you should do better. And I don't think they deserve to go to the next round. So it's as simple as that. They've gone home.
There's a line in your collection of stats that jumps out at me. The shooting accuracy.
Yes.
They were doing 37%.
Exactly.
And the Burkinabés were doing 60%.
So the Burkinabés were really testing the Gabonese keeper. So that's the 60%. So he had to make 14 saves. The one he missed was obviously the goal. So 14 saves compared to the Burkinabé keeper who made 10 saves because their goal was not considered a shot on target because an own goal. So it's not the keeper's fault. So
I'll come back to that number. Later on, we'll talk a bit about the penalties. And we've seen a high number of misses in this competition. Tunisia already leads the charts with 3 in 3 matches or whatever. So we'll get into that. But let's talk about the other game on the day. It was Nigeria-Tunisia. And this game quickly followed the drama of the Burkina Faso-Gabon game. This game was a bit less dramatic. But in the end, it gave us a result that has been considered a bit of a shock. The Tunisians edged Nigeria by 1-0. Youssef Msakni's goal, the difference there. Fred, did you see this coming? Did you think that the Nigerians would be out at this point and it would be Tunisia who would be moving on to the last 8?
To be fair, last Friday, I think Thursday, when we analysed the Nigerians' last group stage game, and then we talked about the potential opponents in the round of 16. We didn't even know at that point that it would be Tunisia. But we did warn that, it's a bit too early to try and say that the Nigerians were favourites and that knockout football is completely different. And when the draw came out and they were facing Tunisia, I remember tweeting that it was a repeat of the third place match from 2019 and that Nigeria needed to be afraid. Most of the responses I got, a lot of people thought it was just a bit of banter. But the concern was genuine because Tunisia are one of those teams that are so unpredictable. It is impossible to know exactly what you're getting from them because this is a team that was competitive against Mali. And then, they lose, of course, missed a penalty. In the second game, they were absolutely dominant. Then in the last game, when they needed to win, crucial game against the Gambia, they lost. So you never know which Tunisia are going to show up. And Tunisia, over the last few years, have dished a bit of flamboyance for more energy. And I think the team that it's made up of players that are always fighting for each other. And they are basically a tournament team. They don't peak early. In 2019, when they made it all the way to the semi-finals and finished 4th, they got out of the group with 3 points. In this competition, they made it out of the group with 3 points. So, there is really no telling how far they can go. But one thing is for sure, that they're going to get stronger as the competition progresses, especially in the knockout stages. And I think that was the warning on the sign that Nigeria needed to be a bit more careful as far as this Tunisian team is concerned. And then the game itself, it is one thing for you to say, for example, and say that maybe Tunisia didn't deserve to win, maybe Nigeria were better. It is not that. Because in this match, it was quite clear the team that did the better tactical work won. And that team, for me, was Tunisia. They basically recognized what the Nigerian threats were, especially from the group stage games that they have played, devised a strategy, and absolutely clipped every threat that came from those areas. And those areas are the wide areas. You know, Moses Simon was even spoken of as potentially a player that could win the player of the tournament after just 3 group stage matches. You know, but the Tunisians basically did their work. They doubled up on him, and he had very little impact. Chukwueze has not been himself this whole tournament. So I'm not even going to say that the Tunisians did a number on him. Even with teams that didn't particularly target him, he struggled in this competition. Then you take the goalkeeping mistake. Sometimes some things are hard to predict, you know, because I feel, yes, the ball did take a bounce, a wicked bounce, and a bit of a swirl just when it approaches him. But there are some goalkeepers that would have gotten that out of the way and probably would have saved that. But he didn't, and that ended up being costly. Then the red card to Iwobi. And a lot of people were making quick reference to, I think, the Chelsea versus Spurs game. There was a mightily similar incident in that particular game. The referees reviewed it and didn't send off the Spurs player. And, you know, I have seen arguments that have suggested that perhaps because it wasn't intentional, that he also got a part of the ball, maybe it shouldn't be a red card. If he was giving a yellow card, I'm not sure there would have been too many people that would have been up in arms. But when you go with your high foot like that, you catch him the way he did, more likely than not, a referee sees that on the replay on the monitor. The replay, so that's the thing, slow motion always makes everything look worse than it actually is. So the moment he sees that in slow motion, you know, he's going to give it. And then from then on, you know, it was always like the Tunisians were doing game management. Because we always talk about this all the time. If a North African team is ahead in the closing stages of any game, you forget, we're probably not going to play any football. But to be fair, Nigeria had chances. And I think it was this Sadiq Umar who got that really good opportunity in the closing stages of the game. And we talk about quality yet again. If probably they had Osimhen on the end of that, we'll be talking about a different story. Probably should have hit the target at least, you know. So a bit disappointed, and the Nigerians will be disappointed. But I think one of the reasons I think this happened, I thought perhaps they may have peaked a little bit too early in the competition.
All right.
You know, it's important in tournaments to pace your progress, you know. And but because in knockout football, I think it was Daniel who said it yesterday. He said you kill or be killed. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, it just happens. And for Nigeria, it's, you know, this would be difficult for them to explain, for anyone to really understand. But it happened, and they should have seen it coming because Tunisia are very unpredictable. But I think yesterday they were tactically superior, and they more than deserved their win.
All right, Susu, back to you. Tunisia 1, Nigeria 0. Any special insight for us?
Well, I think, like Fen said, the Tunisians are a gritty tournament team, so based on the balance of play, they scored their early goal. A goal from foul. It wasn't much of a chance. Like I said, the goalkeeper made a hash of it. What should have been an easy save. And the Tunisians just sat back, soaked up the pressure, and made the most of it. But what stood out to me again, I chose shooting accuracy again for this, is that the Nigerians took a lot of shots and didn't use them well. They put only 1 shot on target the whole game. They took 13 shots, almost double what Tunisia took. So it was really their finishing that let them down the day. I don't think Nigeria were that bad on the balance of play. They created a few chances here and there. But when you don't finish in games like this, against a team like this, it will cost you. And like we always say, if you let the North African teams take a lead, they'll kill the life out of the game. And I think that's part of it. They slowed the momentum down. They made it difficult for Nigeria. And it was a masterclass in game management, like you said. They are a tournament team, so they are dangerous for anyone. Everyone sees them with 3 points and think that these guys are lucky to be there. That's what a lot of people thought the last AFCON. They went all the way to the semi-final. Nigeria were, quote-unquote, group stage champions with the only team with a perfect record. They met Tunisia and then it just blew up in their faces. So it looks like this tournament has been a tournament of ups and downs. There's nothing you can really predict, because I was even reading an Opta article about the last 16, talking about how Nigeria have taken the most shots in the box. They're creating the most XG, all of that. And exactly, it just blew up in their face. Like, I was thinking Nigeria had, on paper, when you look at the data, look at the stats, this was a team that was primed to go far. Opta had them as their second tournament favorites based on percentage. But what happened was that they were favorites, but when they got drawn against Morocco, those chances went down behind Morocco. So it was Nigeria, then Morocco. Then they are drawn against Tunisia, and the algorithm says, look, Tunisia is a dangerous team, so their chances go down. And the algorithm was right in its own way to lower their chances because they were facing Tunisia, and it just blew up in their face.
All right, the Nigerians not doing too well at all, so they're out of the competition. Let me read this message. Musa Hadi and Tolong in the northern region says, I think this year's AFCON is full of surprises. Who thought Tunisia could have eliminated our neighbors? But I think Shatawale will be the happiest man at the moment following Nigeria's exit from the AFCON. And he says, see them in March. Kwesi Punchlines, who's watching us from Sakumo, no, interesting name, Kwesi Punchlines, says, I'm enjoying your show. Mbappe from Bastion Day in the Upper East region says, I'm glad that the expired Milo has been sacked. Let's look for a coach who understands football and player conditions. I don't blame any of our players, but I blame the coach. He is a tactless coach because he was using the players in their wrong positions. We pray and hope for better for the Black Stars. Okay. All right. More messages are welcome. 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we've got more for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. I'm still here with Daniel Cranton, Fentu Tahiru, and Susu Graham. Let's get back to the touch screen. Daniel has got a few things to point out from the Tunisia-Nigeria game, a game that saw the Carthage Eagles beating the Super Eagles for a place in the last 8 of the AFCON. Daniel?
We said it last week, our last episode last week. We spoke about Nigeria. And I said that, look, we've seen this thing happen tournament after tournament where the best team in the group stages usually becomes a target in the round of 16. And more often than not, the teams who are facing them get to or tend to have the upper hand on the day. I must start off by saying that I was very disappointed in Augustine Guavon's tactical approach. When the game started, you could tell exactly what the Tunisians were doing. And just as we went at Carlos Queiroz in that opening game between Nigeria and Egypt for not varying his tactics as the game went on and his use of Mohamed Salah in that game, I would also say same for Augustine Guavon and his insistence on relying on the wide areas and not offering support in those areas. If you watch Nigeria throughout this competition, it's been Simon and Chukwueze who have been offering the offensive. On the offensive side of Nigeria, they are the ones who have been the main catalyst for that, especially Moses Simon. And anybody who was supposed to prepare tactically to go up against the Nigerians would have known that he was obviously the target man for that particular team, and then they had to stifle him. So for Tunisia, they did exactly that. It was a double team, sometimes even triple team on him. If you watched it, it started. You look at the time there, this is 31 seconds into the game. And Tunisia have already given Nigeria an indication of what exactly they are going to do in the game. So Moses Simon has the ball, and there are two guys straight on him, just like that. A third guy offering or sort of tracking the run of his maybe an outlet that he could go for, but just offering that guidance, making sure that he doesn't have any room to be able to progress. And this was it. This was literally the story of the game. You see it happening again. This is after 1 minute, double team. As soon as he gets the ball, you have 2-3 players going on him, just making sure that he doesn't have the room to be able to maneuver. So you see them there, 2 guys on him, and he's forced back. And my problem was that this kept on happening in the first half through to the second half. But if I was a head coach, I would have made some variations to it. Not necessarily stop using him as an outlet. But you have the left back in Sanusi who is brilliant at going for it. On the other side, you have Ola Aina and Chukwueze who can also offer you something going forward. So the fullback should have at least been given the license to help him a bit. Because anytime he had the ball, he was crowded out with space and was forced to go back. And that was working right into the Tunisians' plan. That's exactly what they wanted to do. And of course, they also, as Coach Nimli will say, let him feel the sense. They let him feel the sensation in his legs, just to let him be aware that they were around. He forced and tried to force the issue over and over and over and over again, and it just wasn't working for him. As soon as he picks up the ball, he has men surrounding him, and it was always going to be extremely difficult for him to be able to maneuver his way through. You look at it again, two men, and a third one offering cover, and that was basically the game plan. Now, I looked at it in two ways. In as much as, yes, I earlier said that you could have allowed, or Gabon could have allowed the fullback to give him some options in terms of overlapping runs. I also felt that any time the game was focused at Moses Simon's side, you had Chukwueze a bit free on the other side. So it could easily have been an overload and then a switch to the other side, free up to Chukwueze, and he could cause some damage. But you could see that Simon was under tactical instructions, trying to force creativity from the left-hand side, and they were not usually going for the switch to the other side. So this was a major problem in the Nigerian game. And you can tell, in as much as they had shots, they didn't have those clear-cut opportunities that they had in the first three games. They were not creating with the freedom that they were in the first three games, and that was a bit problematic. If you look at what happened in the latter part of the game, after the red card, when Sadiq Umar came, now they started trying to play through the middle. And it caught the Tunisians a bit by surprise, because of course, they had got reduced to a crowded pitch and started forcing the issue from there. And that could easily have given them a go in the latter stages if Sadiq Umar had taken that opportunity. So I felt the tactical switch came a bit too late. They were a bit too predictable. Anybody else on the continent who was facing Nigeria in the knockout round would have known, by evidence of what happened in the first three games, that Moses Simon or either Chukwueze will be the main threat in that team. And Gabon should have been a bit proactive in his deployment of the player, or in fact his entire offensive tactical approach. Because if you watched it made Kelechi Iheanacho almost useless. He and Awoyini, they were almost useless in the 70-75 minutes that they played together on the pitch. They were lacking supply. They had to drop deep. They were very frustrated in the entire game that they played yesterday. So it was a bit problematic for me. And when you look at the head coach in Gabon, you know he could have done better. That's where the frustration comes in. And you just wish that had he been able to vary it a bit, maybe Nigeria would have been able to get a goal.
All right, the Nigerians, I'm sure, will be on their flight back. I'm sure they've even left, but they will not enjoy that flight back. They would have wanted to stay and play a bit more in the AFCON competition in Cameroon.
Step down.
Well, he has stepped down from his position
as interim head coach.
Yeah,
but he's still the technical director.
Yeah, but the point is that it only stands to reason. I mean, if he's stepping down, he's going back to technical director. Yeah. Well, I'm sure maybe there was a clause that said, okay, if you don't get it, you are out completely. But we'll see.
I don't think so. But they have it. So I think the significant thing about that is that, before, when the tournament started, and the way he started the tournament, the way he played the group stages, I was speaking to a couple of Nigerian journalist friends of mine. The NFF were actually contemplating keeping him in that position because the new coach that they...
Jose
Pesero, that they engaged, a contract has not been signed. And it was more or less like a verbal agreement, and he wasn't in Cameroon as well. So the earlier reports that he was in Cameroon were false. So contract hasn't been signed. He wasn't in Cameroon, so he's not even ever trained with this team. He doesn't even know the players just yet. If he does, he's probably studying them from back home, and no official announcement has been made in terms of when he's supposed to take over. So there were actually reports that perhaps if he had done a little bit better than he did, especially given a group stage performance, they were contemplating keeping him in that job for the World Cup qualifiers and then subsequently the World Cup. So, Pesero himself would be very happy because in other words, the Nigerians would not have given him the job if Gabon had succeeded a little bit. And by success, I mean if Nigeria had made it to the semi-finals, they would have considered a big success.
It would have been very difficult to tell him like, oh, you've gone to the AFCON semi-final, but step aside for someone else.
And they would have said for consistency's sake, and they know the players, they know each other. Let's keep him for the Ghana matches, and then if he qualifies, they can't say you qualify, but to step aside. So if he qualifies them, he's taking them to the World Cup. So it's just a long list of events, domino effects from the performance, and him stepping down now paves the way for Pesero to take over. What is for sure is that when Ghana comes up against Nigeria in March, both teams will come with 2 new coaches.
We'll see who will coach the Black Stars later, but sorry, let me go to some of the messages. This one says, we must face the FA and tell them the truth about corruption in connection with player selection. The pro scouting is too much. The cabal has its own players, and it shoves them down the throats of coaches who aren't their own men. Okay. Paul Mensah Ankun watching from home. This one says, Ghana can qualify ahead of Nigeria if only the coach is sacked and go for Hervé Renard, and the FA should be dissolved. Mohammed, who's in Salaga North. This one says, check this list and compare them to the current fullbacks of the Black Stars. In Okwatin, Dennis Appiah, Edmond Akumen, Saluma Adbenyanu, Benson Annan, and Leroy Owusu. Okay, we'll see. Odenchem from Kintampo says, Nigeria really let me down yesterday. They should come home and meet us in March. And Badman Spartan, who's in Ashaiman, says, I think this AFCON is for Burkina Faso because you can see they are hungry for the trophy. All right, we don't know who will win, but you can tell us who you think will win. Somebody says it's Burkina Faso. So we'll find out who will win a little later. You're still watching the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we get into the conversation around penalties. Why are so many of the spot kicks being wasted? And then we talk a bit about the games that will happen today. Gambia versus Guinea and Cameroon versus Comoros. Cameroon versus Comoros in the 7 p.m. game. This is the AFCON Daily Show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. The gang is still here with me, Susu Graham, Daniel Cranting, and Fentu Tahiru. Guys, let's zoom in on the focus of the day. Of course, all the other things are parts, but today's the first time we're actually looking at a main topic apart from the football. Why have there been so many penalty misses in this AFCON?
What do the numbers say? Here you go.
I mean, Tunisia 3. Tunisia, they have the record of missing penalties. Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Algeria, Morocco, and Burkina Faso have all missed. And this is in regular time, in open play.
How many of them have been awarded?
19.
And how many misses now?
9. There's 9.
That's 47%. Yeah.
The Tunisian numbers still fascinate. How is it that one team has missed 3 penalties?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
At least a penalty every game, apart from the Nigeria games too. Or maybe
yes, 2 different kickers. At least I saw Wabi Kazri miss 1.
Sakni also missed.
Sakni missed in their last game. I think it was the second game when they beat
Kazri didn't play the last game because he had COVID.
You know,
it was a game against Mauritania.
Mauritania, yes.
Penalties. It was 2 different tickets.
Wow.
Here we go. All right. I mean, I think. Listen, I think this is good goalkeeping. To be honest, he's trying to go down the middle. This is good
goalkeeping.
Yes, he's trying to go down the middle. The goalkeeper reset, doesn't dive too early, and then just throws his legs in the way, and then he saves it. So for that, I can't blame the kicker. Here's Wabi Kazri against Mali. Again, another good goalkeeping. But then again, the ball is probably too close to the goalkeeper.
Yes.
If you're going to go to the side, it has to be closer to the pole. And this one was closer to the pole.
Probably too close.
Probably too close to the pole. And then it hits the pole. This, I honestly don't think it's a problem with the kickers. This is ambition. It's almost Jan-like. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. He's looking for the roof. But this is a poor kick.
Why are you not crediting the goalkeeper for that save?
I mean, because I have never seen a penalty score.
The positioning you play, you have to go for the corners. That's not close enough to the corners.
This is another poor kick. This is not great goalkeeping. I mean, the keeper has to dive, right? But this is a poor kick. We know him, and we know how capable he is when it comes to taking penalties. That, for me, was a poor one. Because he doesn't give the goalkeeper too much work to do. And the ball is almost too close to the goalkeeper. And when it happens like that, it's more likely than not, the goalkeeper is going to save that. I think the perfect penalty it has to be as far away from the goalkeeper as possible. It has to have height. If you're keeping it down, then you better be on target, because the likelihood of that flying past the post and going out is very high. But any penalty, in my opinion, that does not go above, I think, the waist length of the goalkeeper is a poor one. And more likely than not, they're going to save that, especially there's not enough power in it to be able to get past the goalkeeper before he gets there.
Okay, Daniel, your thoughts, your general thoughts on the misses we've seen so far?
I think it's a mixture, a combination of different factors. Some poor kicks. I think most of the penalties that have been saved by the goalkeepers has been good goalkeeping. They've guessed right. They've been very agile in their displays. It's been. I think I'll credit the goalkeepers for that. We've seen a couple of shots hit the post. We saw yesterday Bertrand Traoré hit the post, and Sakni against Mauritania hit the post. For Bertrand Traoré's own, it's one of those penalties that when they go in, you call it a perfect penalty. If he hits the bar, he doesn't make it, then you criticize the taker. But you understand the thinking behind the penalty. He was going for an angle, trying to get it far away from the goalkeeper as possible. But honestly, when I look at how some of the kicks have varied, different styles, different ways they have missed the target, I just think it's coincidence. Honestly, I just If you see, if it was one team. For like Tunisia, you can tell that 3 different misses, 3 different takers. You can tell that this team hasn't necessarily practiced. They don't necessarily have the balls for penalties. Because if in the opening game, if your captain takes and he misses, he's a captain. People miss. In the second game, he should be taking it again. But the fact that they changed, Nsakni missed, and then they changed again after Nsakni, and it wasn't Kazri coming back to take the third game. It just shows that they don't necessarily have a plan. But aside that, when you look at the rest of the teams and how the penalties have been missed, bar the Sierra Leone miss, I think his body language, everybody knew where he was going to put the ball. He was a bit too close to the ball. He had shown himself and shown the goalkeeper where he was going to take it. The height too was perfect for the goalkeeper. Aside that, I think it's been great keeping and hard just for me.
Okay, interesting. So I don't know what you... Well, okay, thanks. Before I get to Shishi.
I'm just saying that, it's actually kind of funny, because I thought, especially with the new rule on goalkeeping movement, the fact that you have to have one leg in the pose at all time, or on the line, at all times, they should be scoring more. That should be in favor of the kickers, because then that means that the angle will continue to remain as wide as possible until you actually kick the ball. So I don't know what exactly is going on, and that's probably why the goalkeepers deserve a bit more credit. But at the same time, I think I want to say that when
the kicks have been poor.
Some of them, no. The goalkeepers, we went through them. Some of them great goalkeepers. Some of them just poor kicking. It's like Frank Kessie's one. I can't see what the excuse that is. Or yesterday, what is his name? One of the Gabonese did a John Mensah. You can't go and stand in front of the ball, hold your waist, and expect to score. And then he blasted it over the bar. I think we all knew he was going to miss while we were watching the game. But
talking about it, so just a second. Of all the misses in the shootout, it was the last Gabonese miss that fascinated me. The one that hit the post. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Frankly speaking, I think it was a super penalty. And it was one of those penalties.
Of course, I get it. If you get it right,
it reminds me of Asamoah Gyan's penalty kick, Ghana, Uruguay, the first
the one he scored. The one he missed.
No, the one he scored. Straight after the miss, he took the first one, took it to that angle. It's that sort of penalty where the keeper can't touch it if you get it right. And it was, if you look at the accuracy, it was literally inches, because he hit the underside of the bar.
That's it.
Underside of the bar and came out of the
more like on the angle, Daniel. It looks like
it
the angle
for perfection.
So honestly, it's one of those things. It's
this kick, for example, the goalkeeper gets the position, the side, he's saving it. That is a poor kick.
It was a poor kick, but I think that Amanome must have given up.
I'm just saying that the quality of the kick itself, not necessarily. You see, I'm not a fan of kicking penalties. The goalkeeper does the right way, he saves. I want my penalty kick taken like Frank Lampard. You have no chance.
Susu.
I'll say this. There's 2 types of ways to score a good penalty. Put it where the keeper can't catch it, or trick the keeper into diving the wrong way. So there's making sure the keeper doesn't catch it. I'll call it the Mas Letizier method, because he scored 46 out of 47 Premier League penalties. So Letizier says he always aims for the top corner. Why? There's no way the keeper is catching it if you get it right, which is why 46 out of 47, great record. Then the other method is the Beppe Signori, who scored 44 out of 52 penalties in Syria. Signori actually didn't take a run-up, so he used to do a John Mensah. So I just have to disagree with Fent a bit on that. It's an effective penalty-taking technique if you know what you're doing. So Signori's technique is he watched the keeper's knees. So if the keeper's knee bends, it means that he's putting his weight on that side to dive this way. So if he puts on the other side, the keeper can't adjust his weight to get to the other side. So depending on the type of penalty you want to take, I think these are the two things players should look out for. If you know you are going to run, you're not trying to trick the keeper, go for the top corner. Worst case scenario, bottom corner, because you have to put it where even if he dives and it's too fast for him, he won't catch it. If you know you are going to do a slow run up like a Jorginho, Beppe Signori, even Frank Kessie, you have to make sure you are watching the keeper's movements well, and you take advantage of his. Because even Balotelli, when he used to score a lot of penalties, it was very similar. He was taking advantage of the keeper diving, because if you're a keeper, to get to the ball, you have to dive before it's kicked. There's no way you're going to, unless a very slow penalty, there's no way that you're going to get it after
the ball is being kicked.
Exactly. So you have, I think both players need to pay attention to these little things, because Beppe Signori was actually called to teach Neymar penalties while he was at Barcelona.
Interesting.
He missed a few, so they called him as a consultant, because he's been banned for football for for betting issues. But
it's like like you mentioned, I think the people that take the ones with the slow run up, Eden Hazard, Balotelli, Jorginho,
of course, they kind of
Frank Kessie.
Yes, Frank Kessie himself.
Last season, actually.
And these penalties are so effective, so much so that it's now Jorginho is now set a trend. Ask Justice Blay. But it makes it look easy, but it's not.
It's a very complicated.
It is very difficult technique.
I think it's a rhythm penalty, and you have to time yourself for 1-2 leap, and because I think if you get anything wrong,
it's based on
the goalkeeper's
movement.
So it's goalkeeper dependent, not a kicker dependent.
And that's
Lampard style is kicker dependent.
If the keeper doesn't move, then you are hot. That's what we saw. Frank Kessie, he kept it. He was looking at the Sierra Leone goalkeeper who wasn't moving. So they have sort of a default side that they hit it when the goalkeeper is not moving. And
more like Cristiano.
More like Cristiano. You can tell that the goalkeeper knew exactly where he was going to put it, and he saved it. But I still maintain these things. Per what we've seen so far, I don't think there's a clear-cut problem.
There's no trend.
There's no trend. It differs.
But guys, now with Tunisia leading the charts in terms of free kicks, does it tell us anything that on the day Tunisia gets into a shootout, for example, if you are the opposition and you get this record, does it tell us anything about the Tunisia?
Yeah, it's playing in your mind, especially all those that missed.
Yeah, because and I'm saying that
it's psychological.
The fact that they've changed. It just shows you that they don't necessarily have, because trust me, if Cote d'Ivoire get another penalty, Kessie is obviously going to take it, and that's a team that knows and trusts their penalty taker. But for Tunisia, once Wabikazu is like the penalty guy, he's missed. Okay, fine, but he's on the pitch for the next game. A penalty happens, he takes it. If he doesn't take it, there's a next one after Insakni has missed. He should take it, and he didn't take it still. So that's 3 in a row, 3 different kickers. So now who are you going to trust when the fourth one comes around?
All right, we'll see how teams will fare. As we are in the round of 16, we'll be seeing potentially a lot more of the penalty shootouts, and we'll try and distill more of the stories from that one. But so far, Burkina Faso giving us a lovely time in terms of the shootout. Like I said, it was drama, and more drama as they took on Gabon in that sequence there in terms of the penalty shootout. I think we'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we look ahead to games for today. Gambia versus Guinea and Cameroon versus Comoros. That's the game I'm waiting for because of the context. And I'll tell you the context right after this short break. This is the AFCON Daily Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch. Feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch. Feel the heat, feel the kick.
Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. Let's look ahead to the games for today. It's Gambia versus Guinea and Cameroon versus Comoros. Gambia versus Guinea is at 4. The Scorpions versus the Silly National. And then you've got the Indomitable Lions against the Comoros. What's the nickname of the Comoros team? Does anybody?
fossil fish. I can't remember the name, but it's like you
The
need like a degree in archaeology to know the name.
The nickname for the Comoros national team is the Comoros national team.
No, it's a fish, but it's like a prehistoric fish.
Ones are named after a prehistoric fish.
They are also named after an animal, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
They're prehistoric
a
fish.
prehistoric fish. I don't know why they chose that.
I wish I knew the name, but like I said, I don't know
archaeology.
This is very interesting.
Your zoology is
Susu
not.
says the team was named after a prehistoric fish. He said it like 3 times, and he says they've been named after an animal. Since when the fish became a building? Of course, it's an animal.
All right, guys.
But I was looking at the nicknames for national team, and I realized that it's not just in Africa that all of them are named after animals.
Most of them.
Yeah,
Even
most of it
England
is
is the 3 lions.
Yes, but you don't find a lot of that around.
They're everywhere. Oh.
France is not after an animal.
That's
Mexico is not.
That's France.
US not.
That's
Your
Mexico.
country is a star an animal.
It's not an animal.
Black stars are the animal.
No, I mean Ghana is
Okay.
the exception. The rest of
Okay,
them are
I've
elephants,
found
panthers.
it.
Okay, so you found
Yes.
it. What are they called?
They are called the coelacanths.
The coelacanths.
Translate
Yes.
the coelacanths.
It's a rare order of fish.
Okay.
Wow.
Found. I'm sure it's found in the
Found in the
Archipelago Sea.
the West Indian Ocean.
That's where they
Yes.
are.
That's
The
where they
Indian
are.
Ocean.
Okay,
But it's
alright.
very
The-
rare. And
very
they are
rare.
very
Yes, they're an archipelago country. They're located in the archipelago with all these blue
Yeah.
seas and the Indian Ocean and all
Okay,
the
so-
beautiful
Can we proceed?
people.
So now we are into the realms of geography and archipelagos and chain of islands. Wonderful stuff. Let's move on. Let's talk about Gambia, Guinea. Guys, Thompson Feet, who's Gambian manager, I'm sure he's a hero by now. Gambia's first taste of the round
That's a
of
coach
16.
Ghananese.
I think that's a coach Ghana.
Come on.
Their first taste of granted this high level of action. The Gambians don't seem afraid, but this is new to them. They've never been here. They are taking on a team that has been here before a couple of times. There you have the head-to-head. In 2007, that was the last time they met. Susu?
So these are AFCON qualifiers. So they've played
AFCON qualifiers?
Yes,
Okay.
they've never met at an AFCON. But these are AFCON qualifiers, and they have a lot of games. As you can see, a very strong head-to-head record. 7 wins for Guinea, 4 wins for Gambia, and 12 draws. They've played a lot in the Americal Cabral Cup.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing, but it seems like they've played about...
Milka Cabral.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they've played
Freedom
about
fighter.
8 games in that competition. So I will have to do my research a bit later to see what that's about. But as you can see, Guinea are they are the more dominant team in this rivalry since they've played so many times. Mm-hmm. But Gambia, like I said, they've been very impressive. They've had a very good AFCON, but I think this is where the journey ends, and I'll explain why. I don't like to go into this, but like I always say, look at where they are taking their shots. They are not getting the box, and I always point this out. You have to take good quality shots to win games.
Okay.
They've outdone their XG with 3 goals from an XG of 2. So they are expected to have scored 2, but they've only scored 3. They are not taking quality shots. But if you can see all these shots, these small circles outside the box show the quality of chance. And if you look in the box, even the chances they are getting in the box are not that good quality.
There's only one big
And that's
circle.
a penalty. That one right on the box. So 1 penalty and then 1 shot in the 6-yard box. I don't think this is good. I think that if Guinea just keep the ball well, move it around well, and just starve them of possession, they'll get the win. I think this is an easy win for Guinea, and the fairy tale will end. But like I said, football isn't one on a spreadsheet, so I could be very wrong.
I'm sure.
I'm glad he ended on that note because XGs and chance creation, and it doesn't mean anything when you get to the round of 16. Honestly speaking, it doesn't mean anything. Go
Why
ask
doesn't
Nigeria.
it mean anything?
Nigeria should bring their XG and use to qualify to the quarterfinals. That's what they should do. They had a better chance creation, more shots in the box, more shots in the final third, more shots everywhere. They should take it and go to the quarterfinals if that is what we do. No, it's about a game plan. If you look at the Gambians, they've been very deliberate in every game that they've played. Yes, they have a style, yes, they have a philosophy, but in as much as they are inexperienced, they've drawn lessons from people or different teams, and you can see that they are not necessarily playing like a team that is new to this competition. They are fearless because they know they have nothing to lose, but they are fearless in a pattern. It follows a plan. It's very methodical. So for me, and this is a Guinea team that is struggling to score goals.
Yes,
They've struggled to score goals through qualifiers, and you can see the Gambian defense is solid. They didn't concede against Tunisia. I think it was a penalty they conceded against Mali. So this is a solid team that is going out there. And frankly speaking, because of their fearlessness and what I can see in terms of their tactical first read, I honestly think they can formulate a fantastic, perfect game plan to beat the Guineans. Today, I fancy Gambia to go.
Wow, the story of the underdog. Let's move on to the other game. It's Cameroon versus Comoros. And guys, we all know why this game excites everybody. Comoros, Charlie, COVID all over the place.
Yeah, they have only 13 players available, including the goalkeeper.
Yes, I hear Ali Amada is back.
Who just returned.
Yeah.
All 3 goalkeepers had contracted COVID.
I think it was actually 4.
I was waiting. I was really, really
keepers.
waiting to see the outfield player who was going in post, because had that happened, they got 10, 11, 12.
I don't think. I think.
All right, so can you tell us the
something would have
head-to-head?
had to be done.
Well, the first time they met was in qualifying for AFCON 2019. And so it's 1 draw, 1 win. So it's similar to our head-to-head against them before the game. So there's not that much there. But like we saw, these head-to-heads don't mean shit. Don't mean anything, because you can get your first victory whenever. So things do happen, and AFCON will be very interesting.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Comoros. I was really hoping that they wouldn't have any goalkeepers.
Why?
Oh God!
They're already going to take 4 with a goalkeeper. So
I know. Because you see, I was just eager to see how that outfield player would have reacted.
I'm interested in what odds the Panthers gave them in this game. Because
25.
And
There was a particular game I was watching there. When I checked, they also like 37.
And the matter is compounded by the fact that they don't have a lot of their good players available.
Okay, so
everyone has COVID. It's just a very sad.
it's 15.
15. So they've got
Just
15. Okay, so essentially they have 11 players and a sub. That's all they have.
That's all they have, including the goalkeeper. They have 13 fit players. So
Okay, 11 and 2 subs.
I mean, that's not enough. Technically, that's not enough to play a football match.
It doesn't.
But they've brought the rules before
They've
the
brought the rules.
competition. And
I still would have wanted the outfield player.
Why are you doing that?
Oh no!
I
You
mean,
see,
so it's
you know
really
when,
hard
you know
to-
when outfield players go in goal, the first few minutes are a little shaky because that's where I suspect the goals will
You
flow.
remember that River Plate had to play a game with only 11 players. And Enzo Perez was in goal, and they won.
Yeah.
So
Not this Comoros.
It's hard to really analyze this from a tactical point of view. It just looks like Comoros are going to go out there, give it their best, and fight for their dignity.
Since when they drag Cameroon to a shootout and win,
Forget it. It is
You know
3-0
that's
by
not gonna
halftime.
happen.
It's
3-0
3-0 by
by
halftime.
halftime.
Because, look, Cameroon are a beast. They are playing at home. They've seen what Comoros has done to Ghana. They are not going to let anything slip. And I'm sure that's what their head coach will be drumming into their heads. You can't take chances.
Don't do
against-
a Ghana.
Don't do a Ghana. So by halftime, it's 3-0 hot. And then we come and add 4 more in the second half.
I agree with that. I feel like Comoros were lucky against us. I don't want to go too much into my patriotic spirit, but when I look at the two teams, Cameroon keep the ball well. They are going to pass circles around them. They are going to be all over the place. And considering that you don't have the players and you are going to be having to chase the ball, it doesn't look good. So you can see Cameroon right there with their average passes per sequence. So you can see Comoros, they're a bit more direct. They try and move the ball fast. But when you are a team like that, you have fewer players, you are tired, and you are going against a team that's as physical as Cameroon, who can also keep the ball. You just have everything against you. So I think Daniel is right, even though this one was won on a spreadsheet, but he's right.
No, but did you see that? You see how far back Malawi are? You see how far back?
Yeah, they are.
But they are in a round of 16.
The
Right?
strangest looking passing team. All right, guys.
Whatever you do, just do it well.
Just
It's as
do it
simple
well
as
and
that.
call it
It's not
right. All right, guys.
Being at the other end doesn't mean you are better than anybody.
Okay, guys, let me read this. This is a message that is commending all of us, and it's from Nigeria. It says, I'm watching from Nigeria. I commend your crew. You present sports with flair, consistency, and accuracy. Nice analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Nigerian friend.
We are all going home.
We are all going home. But we'll meet in March, though. You subscribe to our YouTube channel for more.
Ghana. We see a lot of Nigerians
We have
there.
more
We
you
need
can
more of
share.
them there.
Share with your friends.
Put the
guys.
content there as well.
All right.
We're all brothers after
Yeah,
all.
of course, yes.
Yeah.
Friends,
We're
Daniel
all
Susu.
home.
Thank you so much. And thank you out there for watching. This has been another exciting episode of the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We are back tomorrow with more. We'll review the game and probably ask ourselves, how many did Cameroon score against Comoros? Or maybe Comoros will cause an upset. You never know. We are back tomorrow with another exciting episode of the AFCON Daily Show. The games are at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Enjoy them. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.